Yeah, Justin Ward coming over, another Loyola grad, part of this Charlie Toomey staff that really has a lot of Greyhound representation. We asked him about it. He said it really wasn't something he considered, but you know, these guys are going to know the program, they're going to know the guys and have a more close connection.
Ward's giving confidence to guys like Everhart. Here's Everhart, spins the circle. How about that defense though? It comes from Alexander. It's a Terps defense that allowed a Big Ten low 8 goals per game last season. Top 10 in the country too. Spun to Matthew Minikis, our player to watch. Out to the right side, again it's Everhart. The shot and score for Loyola. Greyhounds get on the board first, and it's Keenan Everhart to do so.
Yeah, Everhart's a guy who put up 2 goals in the game versus Maryland last year. That was an ugly game, but Everhart getting a good start here. You see him switching on to Alexander, and he just made that easy dodge to the right side, able to sneak it past Rupel, and the great...
Stops, gets it back to Spanos. He's been keyed on defensively so far by Loyola. Gardner, here's the freshman in his first couple minutes of collegiate lacrosse. Gardner, back up top to Spencer Ford. Work to Leo Johnson. Spanos, peeks a shot, righty, and it goes just wide left.
What makes Spanos so hard to guard is he's able to hit those shots from beyond.
Off the whistle, here comes Maryland. Back to Spanos, his shot, and saved again by Watkinson. Rebound and score for Spencer Ford. Well, for a guy who didn't see any action as a freshman a year ago, the talented former 5-star opens the account for Maryland and ties us at 1.
This is just great awareness, and John Tillman in our conversation with us talked to us about how high IQ of a player Ford is. Look where he is. He's right at the goal. Spanos gets all the attention on offense. He knocks in the first shot, and look at him celebrating the new #1 with the young buck scoring the first goal for Maryland this season.
That's what leadership. Halter behind the goal line extended. Opts for a pass with Mason Cook. Cook's second on the team in points this season ago. He's really been clicking with Minikis in the preseason. Cook wraps around, trying to shake off Peter Lake, sophomore in his first year starting. Loyola slows things down. And here comes Cavey. Spin move for Brady Quinn. Over to the right side. Luke Murphy puts on a lefty shot, and he scores. Murphy makes it 2-1 Loyola. And that'll send us to our first timeout. Well, Loyola strikes first, and then we'll strike second here. Murphy makes it 2-1 Greyhounds. So got about 4 minutes left in this first quarter. Stobaugh introducing his whole 6'4", 210 self to Loyola. Keeps it with Maryland in the final minute of this first quarter. Loyola up 2-1 on the Terrapins, the #1 team in the country in week 1 of the Coaches Bowl. Terps can hold this for the final possession of the first quarter. Johnson to Stobaugh. Worked around. Urksa, back to Spanos, and Urksa has it. Up to Stobaugh, Deeks, fires, scores! Elijah Stobaugh creates the second chance opportunity for Maryland, and then ties us at 2.
You see him nodding his head there, and he's a sneaky good player off this Maryland bench, Ryan. This was a guy who scored 2 goals during championship weekend. You could hear them saying on the sideline, telling Urksa to go. He passes off to Stobaugh. He says, I got this, and ties it up at 2 with 19 ticks left.
Of that season, that's where the starter experience and the confidence in Brian Rupel come in.
Yeah, he's not your average backup. He has a lot of experience, and that's why John Tillman trusted him for this role.
Spanos calls over Spencer Ford. Takes the screen towards the right side. All the way to Matt Higgins. Right side. With Johnson. And Leo Johnson's got his first as a Terp. The graduate comes over from Yale and gives Maryland its first lead of the season thanks to a pretty spin move.
Another one of these guys on the Tewaaraton watch list last season for Yale. Look at the spin move there. With the left hand, puts that one top corner. Johnson was an elite goal scorer in the Ivies, knocking down over 100.
Shot just goes wide left against Rupel. But again, it's been Loyola who's been behind the goal line extended and creates second chance opportunities offensively.
It's very different defensive approaches from these two teams. Loyola is choosing to spread out their offense a little bit more than the Terps are.
Everhart works on Lake. Back around to Musgrove. And Quinn gets by, shoots, and scores. Brady Quinn ties us back up at 3 after just chance by chance, and then Rupel just can't stop that final one.
Yeah, that's one of these plays that Terps fans are used to seeing Logan McNaney make this save. This is a tough one. I mean, right above the helmet is where Quinn decides to go. Rupel just can't get his stick up in time, and this is a barn burner forming here at JHH, Ryan, 3-3. But unfortunately, he's one of the best short stick D-middies in the country. That was just elite defense from Maryland. Now they go back on offense here. That offense still kind of sputtering in this first half.
It's been sputtering and hasn't puzzled Max Watkinson, the Loyola goalkeeper, yet. He's got 7 saves. Off the turnover, the shot falling down. It's a goal for Mason Cook. He just cooks that one up after the Maryland turnover. And how about Loyola going back up to a 4-3 lead?
And they call the timeout. I mean, but this is just really impressive play from the Greyhounds. Watch what happens. So the Terps commit the infraction here. They can't get it across the midfield line. And now the fast break. He's got his stick up in the air and falling down, throwing that one in. What a play by Mason Cook, who was sneaky good last season with 17 goals. He's got number 1 here against the Terps and a Greyhounds lead on Big Ten Plus.
It's the graduation of Luke Weirman.
Yeah, and so far Dodge has lived up to that pedigree. I really like the way when he's doing his faceoffs, he's always got that head of the stick on the ground. No matter who he's going up against, just has really good fundamentals, and he wins almost 70% of his faceoffs.
Zach Whittier over to the left side with Leo Johnson. He's got one of the 3 goals so far today. So does Elijah Stobaugh, who works down the left side. Back up to Johnson. Whittier, Stobaugh. To Spanos with some space in front. To Lyons. He bounces it in. Chris Lyons. He's got his first, make it 4 different goal scorers for the Terps, who are just staying right there and tie us at 4.
Lyons, another one of those Yale transfers here, and this looked like another dead-end possession for the Terps. Watch how he dodges to the right. He gets the step on his defender and just bounces that past Watkinson. So this Terps team that you could have given this number 1 to, but the fact that it's Spanos speaks to his role in the team, not only as a goal scorer, but as a leader as well. You could see in all the huddles, he's saying something to his teammates. The number 1 just means more for this Maryland lacrosse team. It's not just about what's on the field, it's what's off it too.
It was Spanos who was the featured representative with Will Schaller at that Spring Sports Media Day on Wednesday, saying that he watched all those guys. He watched Ajax and watched Logan to take a page out of their books with their leadership. How about this soaring score right afterwards with Chris Lyons? Give him 2 straight. Maryland makes the most after that timeout.
We're talking about getting a sprinting start out of the timeout. Lyons just says, I'm just going to do it myself. Gets it off of the inbound pass and just takes it all the way to the cage. Let's take a look at the replay. Soaring through, only 1 hand on the stick is enough for Lyons to put the Terps back on top.
Yeah, this indoor turf might be a little bit softer than what we would have seen across the street at CQC, separated by just about 45 minutes. Maryland scored 2 straight, and so has the Terps' Chris Lyons, the Yale transfer, with his first 2 in 2026. Gardner. Pass over to Johnson. Flags in the air as it's Johnson who lets it fly. An and 1 goal, it would seem, for Johnson. He has a quick word with that nearest defender and Brady Rogoff after the fact.
Well, the flag went up before Johnson even let that one rip, but it's a really nice goal, again, coming around with that left hand, and he lets Rogoff know. I say the goal will stand here to make it 6-4. Take a look at how he comes around. Look at the space he has. Just sneaks that one by Watkinson, and he's letting him know.
The flag flew before. It was Johnson who gets the shot off unassisted. Tillman, of course, waves off the penalty, and it's 6-4 Maryland. The Terps
pull their goalie coming up big, and now Whittier on the other side.
Here's Zach. Goes back to Urksa. Maryland trying to figure out its attack that ranked 42nd nationally in the country a season ago. Stovall has it saved by Watkinson, gets his own rebound. Here back to Spanos. 36 goals, 55 points to lead the Terps last year. He looks for his first now.
He's got the shorty on him.
Spanos puts one on and scores. You know, Spanos was going to get it started somewhere, and he does it to a 7-4 Maryland lead.
I mean, that's the definition of good lacrosse right there. You get the matchup against the short stick D-midi here. Spanos just goes right by him. It's a size mismatch, and he just puts it right past Watkinson. He's inevitable. You knew at some point Spanos was going to pop up, and he does.
Second half form. Cook works on Alexander, gets the screen and brings it past and in front of goal line extended. Murphy. He's got a goal to his name, and so does Keenan Everhart. Everhart against Alexander. Back with Musgrove. Lets it fly and bounces it past Brian Ruppel. It was Musgrove who ends the dry spell for Loyola. It's what you need to see go past Brian Ruppel, who's been great for Maryland.
It's a nice shot, and again, it's been the bouncers that have really given Ruppel trouble this afternoon, but Loyola saying, hey, we're not out of this just yet. We're down, but we're not out. It's a nice find right in front of goal, and at the top, he makes the play to make it 7-5.
Correct that too. That's Luke Murphy instead. So that's Murphy's second goal for a guy who knows what it's like to have success playing in Maryland. His brother Owen Murphy. Name sounds familiar. He played over 50 games in the midfield and the attack before graduating the University of Maryland in 2024.
It's just two teams that have so many different connections. We mentioned how there's a Maryland grad on Toomey's staff. That's Sean Cottle, of course, who has so many connections to this lacrosse program. And it's just two teams very intertwined and with the long series history, as we mentioned earlier.
Johnson back to Whittier, who has Green in front of him. Instead, passes left. Spanos, Deeks, fires, scores. Eric Spanos showing what makes him such a sensational attacker. That's now 2 straight for number 1.
I mean, this is just gross from Spanos. He's a big guy, so he's not going to be the fastest on the team, but he's quick. Watch this quick fake, whoop, right by him, and then the speed on that shot. We mentioned how it's been more of a finesse game lately, and very dangerous in the face-off game.
Whittier picks up the loose ball as Carrier, all right, moves for 6 for 8. Stovall. Pass right side with Lyons. Now back to Johnson. Johnson up top to Spanos. He's got space, but he doesn't have the hat trick just yet.
Just overcooked that one a little bit above the cage there, but Spanos again. The thing about him that makes him so difficult, he can score, but he scores quickly and often.
A shot and score from Johnson. Leo Johnson just at 5'9". He's got some zip on the ball and does it for his second goal.
Yeah, Johnson and all these Yale guys have really had their moments in this game. Alexander on defense, Lyons with his pair of goals, and now Johnson adds another. Take a look at the assist there from Urksa. And Johnson, what makes him dangerous is he's so quick and shifty. His ability to change directions, you never really know where he's going to go. You see there dapping him up his new teammate Urksa with the nice
game. Passed it off to another goal scorer in Mason Cook. Cook can't get it to a cutting Minikis. Ruppel gets to it. He's way out of his cage. And Schaller's got to be careful with this pass. He gets it to Larkin.
Oh, he just got that off because he got hit from behind there, but now the Terps fast break on offense.
Transition, here's Larkin, lets it rip, and the LSM fires it home. The big man had 4 goals a season ago, and now he has one in 2026. How about the reaction, too, from A.J. Larkin?
A.J. Larkin is a guy who brings so much energy to this team here, but this was just a really good sequence all the way around. Urksa to Larkin, and then from long range, the snipe. Maryland's in double digits.
It's a give and go. Larkin, Urksa, back to Larkin, and it all leads to a 10-5 Maryland lead here at the Jones Hill House. So here's Whittier. He dodges the defender and dips it off to Urksa. Spanos, couple of goals to his credit thus far. Flashes his eyes with the spin move. Johnson takes the screen from Spanos and works left to Lyons. Terps up to a game-high 5-goal lead. Does Lyons have more? Flag comes. This will go against the Loyola defense. They keep with Maryland on offense. Whittier to up top to Stobaugh. He zips it in. Second time today we've seen the flag fly on the Loyola defense, but it doesn't matter. Maryland scores anyways, and so does Elijah Stobaugh.
Stobaugh is having himself a game, Ryan. I've been really impressed to just see, just outside of the goal scoring, which he adds another here, just the effort. But going back to this last play, Maryland was completely turning the Greyhounds around on defense. It started with Spanos working his way inside, bullying his defender, and they come
4 minutes left in the third quarter. This is where Maryland can start feeling comfortable, taking time off the shot clock to find the best passing lane.
And it's not just that they're winning by 6, it's the way they're winning by 6, Ryan. I think that this was a lot of what we saw in that national championship game against Cornell. Cornell was pulling ahead in spite of the fact that CJ Kirst was not having a great game. You turn that kind of philosophy over to the Maryland side. Spanos, as he has it here, is not at his 100% peak. We've seen him in moments in today's game, but the fact that the Terps have these other goal scorers gives John Tillman confidence going forward.
They got a goal scorer there. They got a goal scorer in Leo Johnson. Again, we just mentioned it. Yeah, give him 4 goals with the assist. Had an apple on the last one, gets another goal here. This is just Maryland now having 5 straight goals.
Watch this dodge there. He just goes to the right. Even against the long pole, he just goes right by him. Slots it past Watkinson, who's been really busy back here in the third quarter. But the Terps really putting a lot of these down.
Behind to Musgrove. Final 20 on this shot clock. Murphy gets the switch. And on comes Trevor Owens. Quinn tries to go near right post. Ruppel not fooled. Pass to Owens, can't be controlled. Loose ball goes perfectly to Urksa. Inside, shot and a score again for Leo Johnson. Well, that goal, that loose ball couldn't have gave any more of a favorable Maryland roll. But then the great pass for Urksa to Johnson. It's been Urksa passing and Johnson scoring all afternoon.
Terps scoring in a lot of different ways. This is on a fast break. It starts with Ruppel, who goes up to Owens. Watch the play from Spanos right here. Just kind of an indirect pick, leading Urksa to get the clean ground ball pickup.
So Johnson has come alive, especially in the third quarter, where he now has 3 of those 5 goals. Zach Whittier brings it up offensively for the Terrapins in what could be the final possession of the third quarter. Whittier to Johnson. Pass, tries to go behind the back to Spanos, and then Lyons looks to do the same. It goes over the net, and Whittier the closest one to it with 5 seconds on the game clock. Lyons goes behind the back and scores! Now they're looking to find some on the highlight reel, and Chris Lyons does just that.
And these Yale guys are coming over with some swagger. And Lions, what a way to close out the third quarter. This is just ridiculous. Look at this play. Behind the back, behind his defender's helmet, and he still slots it past. Man, I mean, if this is game one for the Terps, this guy like Chris Lyons, who are very highly touted grad transfers, you bring the experience and you bring that top-tier talent.
Loyola with it offensively. Good defense, stops the shot from Mason Cook. And for those two guys, especially on the attack, and Leo Johnson and Chris Lyons, they had known for over a year that they were going to be at Maryland once those 4 years of Ivy League eligibility ran up for each of them. Right there, it's McGorry, who looked for a dribbler to the far right post. It misses everything, and will still be with Loyola. Everhart wrap around and score. Had that first goal for Loyola to give the Greyhounds a 1-0 lead. Now he makes the score a little bit closer in the fourth with his second score.
It's a nice play by Everhart, who's had a decent game today, but this has been the move that the Greyhounds have been trying to pull all game long. There's the quick wraparound on goal, and they finally take the shot. That's pretty decent.
Loyola after the goal. Here's the lone multi-goal scorer for the Greyhounds in Murphy. To the right side, working on a couple of reserve defenders for Maryland. Trey Fleece becomes the all-mall defender. Now pass over to Everhart after his goal. He passes it off. Minikis, rare shot, and his first score. He was our player to watch for Loyola. Maryland's contained him so far today, but can't do it on that shot for a second consecutive Greyhound goal.
Yeah, in his 45th career appearance, Minikis finally makes his mark on this game. A nice sidearmed left-handed shot there. You knew at some point he was going to get there. Just
Minikis brings over a toughness that a few of these Loyola guys come. Being from Darien, Connecticut, Darien High School, where that Blue Wave program under Jeff Braymeyer has been nationally ranked as one of the top high school programs in the country.
Yeah, that was something that stood out when we talked to Coach Toomey about that. He just said there's just a different confidence in the group of guys that come from Darien.
A couple of Blue Waves in Minikis. Jake Wilson, we see the junior defender often. All part of a Loyola team that trails by 7, but have scored 2 straight and make it 3. Mason Cook gets back on the board. And with over 12.5 minutes to go, still a big deficit for the Greyhounds, but that's 3 straight for the visitors.
Yeah, this game is far from over for sure. And I think the Terps kind of just fallen asleep on defense, which is pretty uncharacteristic. You see how open Cook gets there, just right behind the last line of defense. And if you're Rupel, I mean, you got to be asking your defenders, where'd you guys go? Rupel's had a good game, but those Terps defenders have to stay in front of the Greyhounds.
Caught up there between Maryland's Dodge and the Loyola face-off specialist in Carson Hall. Maryland still with it after those 3 consecutive goals by Loyola. Come from 3 different sources. It was Everhart, Minikis, and that last one he corrected. Bill Ward to Brady West. Down the right side, freshman Gardner. Spin move, and a score. First goal in game number 1 for Johnny Gardner, and the Gonzaga product adds his name to the scoring sheet.
Yeah, Johnny Gardner, another guy who was super highly recruited, a 5-star, top 10 in his class. Look at the spin move he puts on his defender there, brings the stick around and just slots it right by Watkins.
They're winning it. Here's Carrier. He passes it off and he'll start the long jog back. Urksa. It's Destobaugh who comes on for the Maryland attack just as Chris Lyons does. Left side with Lyons. He's got a hat trick today. Now fires for a fourth. Terps back up to doubling their in-state opponent in Loyola. It's 16-8.
I think this Greyhound defense just starting to get a little tired. Watkinson back there. Look at the finish here from Lyons. It's been that lower corner. We haven't really seen a ton of these goals go top bins. Lyons in this game, like a guy who's still pretty young in this defensive team, but John Tillman really thinks he's going to play a bigger role this season.
Gravino up ahead. He's got it into the stick of Hamish McPherson. McPherson in after playing 2 games as a sophomore a year ago. McPherson played in the season opening win over Richmond as one of those 2 games. Now looking for a season opening win appearance against Loyola. Ward back out to Ford. He finds bottom left.
I mean, it's Ward to Ford and scored just like that. This is what I'm talking about. Maryland has so many different ways they can beat you. How about the accuracy from Spencer Ford right here? He finds the pass open, brings it across, and then just in the bottom corner. No chance for Watkinson. All Maryland here with 4 minutes to go. One of the best for a long time, and he was fantastic last year when the Orange came to play Maryland.
Excited to see that matchup. I'm excited to see Schaller versus Spanos too. With Will Schaller, you can almost guarantee he's going to be locked up on Joey Spallina, Inside Lacrosse's top player in the sport this year. And so far it's been Schaller who, whether it was Maryland's win over Syracuse here in College Park a year ago or in the semifinals in Foxborough, it's been Schaller who's had his way with Spallina too, as we think about that one on Friday. Inside, and a good score top right for Hamish McPherson. It's the first career goal from the Toronto native, and McPherson gives the Terps a double-digit advantage.
This is the kind of close scoring that I thought Maryland was going to pull off earlier in this game. You see the pass there from Higgins right on the doorstep. McPherson fired up.
The junior goalkeeper for Loyola, he replaces the senior Max Watkinson. We were talking with Coach Toomey during the preseason. Of course, this is offensive barrage today for Maryland, but this was still a goalkeeper position he was looking to figure out during the preseason.
Yeah, Abel is a guy who, like Brian Ruppel when Logan McNaney was in cage for the Terps, Abel comes with experience. He played 4 games last season, and being that junior, you know, it's not the same as what Maryland has with Ruppel and then the backup being a freshman. It's 2 experienced goalies for Loyola.
Kyle McCarthy for Loyola. It's Dominicus. Loose ball leads to a score for the Greyhounds. It's Henry Haberman. He scored against Maryland a season ago and now does so in back-to-back years.
Yeah, Haberman, a guy who didn't start today. You kind of thought he was going to play a bigger role in today's game. He finally gets involved, just picking it up right outside Ruppel there and knocking it in before he goes.
Of understanding its culture and how to play collectively.
And they have really no better coach to lead this young team than a guy like Charlie Toomey, who's been here 21 years.
There is a new goalkeeper into the game for Maryland, and it was him who allowed the goal. Tyler Correa, the sophomore out of Ohio, makes his first career appearance. He did allow that goal to Haberman. So the day is done too for Brian Ruppel. But right now Maryland has it offensively with a strike. And that comes courtesy of Sisto Averno. Owing Mills native becomes another Terp with his first career goal and his first career appearance. And you can see what the starters are thinking right now for Maryland on the sidelines. That's Eric Spanos who's celebrating.
I mean, Averno just finds an open lane and knocks that one through. This is a guy who, again, hasn't played, scores his first career goal. What a way for the Terps to open up this season. All these expectations, we talked about at the beginning of the game, how maybe the #1 preseason ranking might be getting in the head of some of these Terps, but man, they have brushed that off like it's nothing, and they have taken on a tough Loyola team, and they're dismantling them.
On the faceoff, there is the senior Mitchell Lloyd, and only his 7th appearance. If Maryland wants to be backed by its depth, though, all of a sudden these kind of in-game opportunities for some depth pieces to see the field become important.
And it also takes a load off of the starting lineup, too. When Maryland played so many close games last year, there's going to be a certain amount of fatigue that sets in. But the more a guy like Eric Spanos can sit, the better the Terps would be long-term for his health.
A goal for Mason Cook with Loyola. That'll be his 3rd and bring the Greyhounds into double digits off the hat trick by the sophomore from Towson.
Cook again here with just that crafty finish, ends up going through the legs of Corey